break the stories that impact you.
We're told it's a full-scale investigation.
Weeknights at 5, 5:30, and 6. Your number one rated newscast is Action News Jax.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-900-4770, 904-900-4770. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-900-4770.
If you're feeling undervalued where you bank or lost in the shuffle, it might be time for a change. Community First Credit Union makes changing easy and worth it. We've been helping the people in North Florida live their best lives for over 9 decades, and we're here to help you too. If you open a Community First checking account, we'll give you a $200 bonus, and you don't have to refer anyone to get it. Visit communityfirstfl.org for details. Member NCUA. Bonus requires deposits totaling $1,000 or more and 10 debit transactions within the first 90 days of account opening.
Do you feel a calling to help others? You can change a local child's life by becoming a foster parent through Daniel. You'll receive training, 24/7 support, and compensation to cover the cost for the child's needs and your time. To qualify, you must be over 21, pass a background check, receive training, and have a caring heart. Foster parent classes are starting soon, so please call Daniel at 296-1055. That's 296-1055, or visit danielkids.org.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Florida State Seminoles football is on ESPN 690.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. DeAndre Hopkins is on the move. The Chiefs finalizing a deal to acquire the 5-time Pro Bowler from the Titans. With the injuries to Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Juju Smith-Schuster, Chiefs have been in the market for a receiver to help quarterback Patrick Mahomes. ESPN NFL analyst Dominique Foxworth.
You see DeAndre Hopkins stepping into that Juju role or that Rashee Rice role. The only difference is both of those guys are more likely to give you yards after catch than DeAndre Hopkins is at this point in his career. But one thing you can trust about DeAndre Hopkins, if you put it in his vicinity, even if he is covered, he's probably going to bring the ball down. He's great with his body, and he understands how to break down zone coverages.
The Titans get a conditional 2025 fifth-round pick and will also pick up $2.5 million of Hopkins' remaining $8 million salary this season. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa back in practice today for the first time since suffering a concussion in Week 2. The plan is for him to play Sunday. Injury-ravaged Browns will start quarterback Jameis Winston versus the Ravens on Sunday. In addition, offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey will take over play-calling duties for Cleveland.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
When I started in '98, it was a different mentality for first responders.
I've seen a lot of people struggle after retirement, still fighting the same demons that they had on the job.
The ability to reach out to a peer support program is huge.
I've done your job. I know the burden you carry. You've saved other people. Let us save you at this time.
It only takes a couple seconds to dial 3 numbers.
First responders, call 211 or visit stayfitforduty.org.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
You ready? Yeah. Turn up your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
you were here. I would have started talking a little bit earlier. Don't mind me. Just doing the things we know and love we do here on ESPN 690. My name is Aaron Schachter, Brian Middleton, across from me behind the glass, not under the glass. That's a different kind of day, I think. I know where you're trying to take it mentally.
I have no idea. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I saw the face you made. It's like, no, you got to do a little gymnastics to get to where you want to take it.
No, it was confusion. That's
I know how you
confusion
work.
On the face right there.
I know how you work.
That's not a flag on the play. That's like, what are you talking about?
You are always trying to turn something I say into something nefarious.
It's not hard oftentimes. Oftentimes it's not hard. But
I like that.
You're right. I do.
Who has time for the whole word often? That was cool of you to shorten it up a little bit.
Felt very
it was efficient.
King Richard.
All right. That too.
He was a king, right?
Well,
King Richard?
yeah. I mean, that was his first name. I assume it was part of the title. If he wasn't king, it's a wild thing to call somebody.
King Louis? King James. That's what I'm thinking of. King James.
The Bible guy?
Yeah, oft.
Or the basketball guy?
Ooh, bars. Let me tell you how crazy life is.
All right.
Looking at a game where you're like, hey, man, yo, this dude is so good and has played so long and has lined up the stars so right.
Yeah.
Been blessed so much.
So much.
That his firstborn, he got it right the first time. His firstborn is playing in the NBA with him.
Are you sure you got it right the first time?
Well, I'm just going to assume. I don't know what happened before,
Coincidentally, we were literally just having a conversation about the Ball family before we started the show.
Yeah.
And you're taking up some beef on behalf of Cameron for getting clowned by LiAngelo.
LiAngelo. The forgotten brother.
The forgotten, out of focus brother. So forgotten, I almost forgot his name, LiAngelo. But to your point, are we sure Bronny is the one he got right? That there isn't another James son who's going to be bigger and better, and it's just Bronny was the first one through?
Listen, if you're playing, yes, I stand by my statement.
Because I think you can agree with me.
No, I'm not going to agree with what you're going to say. I'm going to agree with what I said.
You know what I'm going to say?
I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It feels like Bronny got a little nepotism rub here.
That's okay. Look, I'm sorry. It didn't start there. It didn't start with LeBron James. The amount of nepotism stories that I've heard throughout the years that I've seen personally, not here, maybe here, not here.
Maybe here a little bit.
Maybe not on this side of the building, but listen, I tell you what, I don't care. He got it right. Your son is playing with you in the NBA?
Yeah, LeBron might have gotten it right. I don't know that.
That's what I was saying, man. My bad. I wasn't
But
communicating.
you implied that he got it right the way he raised his kid, which implies Bronny was the sole reason Bronny's in the NBA. I don't know that I'm signing on for that.
Who's doing the gymnastics now? I'm just not communicating effectively because I don't know. I just meant that LeBron, in the general sense, got it right.
Yeah.
A lot. It compounded. The power of making right decisions like Aaron Schachter. Exhibit A, LeBron James and Bronny James.
Yeah.
The Aaron Schachters of the NBA.
Okay. I like that. We can put that on a T-shirt or something.
How cool would it be in the future if you and one of your kids are like on
the same radio show?
You know what I mean?
The kid probably wouldn't like it.
You said the kid may not.
Yeah, the kid probably wouldn't like it. I would thoroughly enjoy it, though. That's the other part of this. Do you really think Bronny wanted to play with Dad? Because here's what I was thinking when I was looking at some of these highlights. I know, I'm not very close with my dad at all, so I can't speak from experience on the dad side, but I know my mom and we're very similar people. And so what tends to happen with parents and children who are very similar, sometimes you tend to argue as much as you don't. Or maybe that's just unique to my family because we're arguers and contrarians. But I'm looking at Bronny yelling some instruction. I'm looking at Dad, LeBron, yelling some instructions out to Bronny. And I'm thinking to myself, that's got to be annoying on some level for Bronny. Like, can't get away from Dad telling him what to do, not even at work.
No, I'm sure they have boundaries. I'm sure there are boundaries somewhere.
Yeah, the 4 lines on the court, apparently.
I think people underestimate the fact that I get the fact that some people probably think that there's an overbearing there because, if your dad's not just in the NBA,
maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm projecting, but I know my mom has told me how to do radio before.
I think a lot of people would fall under that camp of thinking the way that you're thinking, man. I don't think it could. I think that at this point, LeBron would probably have boundaries in place on his end. to say, okay, I'm gonna let him sink to a certain degree.
When you were growing up, if you ignored a parent, would you get in trouble?
Well, it depends. What do you mean ignore a parent? Like they called my name and I said,
maybe they even shouted an activity to you. Hey, go pick that up, or go clean your room, or something, and you just pretended like you weren't listening.
I pretended like I didn't listen. So
just ignored them.
Okay, short answer, like, no, I didn't ignore them.
That was a trigger in my house. If you ignored mom when she was yelling some instructions at you, you were going to get it 10 times worse. And again, I don't want to project, but I just think about Bronny bringing the ball up. There's dad in the high post calling for the ball. Instead, maybe he's looking at Kuzma or somebody else. Dad's like, don't you be ignoring me in the high post.
Nah.
Working off this double team.
I will say, though, if anybody would have the leverage, would have the ability to be like, hey, listen to me every time.
It would be
probably
LeBron.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So, I agree, Aaron, even though you didn't say it. It's a tough spot to be in a lot of ways for Bronny, but there are a lot of benefits to.
Oh, so many benefits, like an NBA contract.
Well,
and playing for the Los Angeles Lakers.
And having that shelter of having LeBron as your dad right there.
Like, and handpicking the head coach who's like a godfather to you.
Set me up for success. I've heard about this all my life, various industries. Set me up for success.
Who knew being an NBA star was so easy?
I was about to say, everybody should do it.
Yeah.
Who would be the next? I mean, is there anybody else? I don't know enough of the NBA players.
Here's the problem, is that LeBron was part of the last era of people who didn't go to college but went to the NBA. So granted, it's only an extra year. The one and dones can come to the NBA after their freshman year. But obviously, the younger you are when you start playing, the better opportunity you have to play with your kid. Because the kid needs to be at least freshman college age to play in the NBA. So what are you talking, like 19 years old?
Yeah. Hold on. How old is Bronny?
Bronny's got to be 19, maybe 20. He was only at USC for a year, right? Or was it more than that?
Yeah, so he turned 20 last or 2 weeks ago. And so LeBron turns 40 in December. So LeBron had Bronny at 19. So everything's have to line up. You got to be that great of a basketball player to go straight to the league.
And then literally have a baby rookie year,
You know what I mean?
Sooner the better.
And then you got to put yourself in the place to allow nepotism and all the other stuff to
you got to have a career that lasts that long. I mean, forget about being the greatest of all time. You got to at least still be in the league 20 years later.
Because LiAngelo Ball's son is going to be not in the NBA either. No, I don't know. He has uncles in the NBA that are doing fine enough, so probably.
All right, well, welcome to the Aaron Schachter Show. Ahead on the show today, we've got a couple of different topics we'd like to discuss. First and foremost, Doug Pederson taking his turn at the podium. Trevor Lawrence taking his turn at the podium. We'll break down those comments. We'll see if there's anything new or interesting that's been said. We've got another trade scenario getting pushed around the internet. This one comes courtesy of PFF, broken down by way of the Jaguar report. We will talk about the potential of a guy like Travis Etienne getting traded and how much sense it either makes or does not make. We've also got the latest from the folks over at ESPN on what they're hearing around the league on the trade deadline, and a bit of breaking news this morning, not necessarily breaking anymore. But we'll take the opportunity to play the noise. The Chiefs have gotten better by adding DeAndre Hopkins in a trade today. We will go over that trade and talk about if it really matters ultimately, or are the Chiefs going to chief no matter what? I think that's a valid question, especially based on what you've seen from them this year. We've also got other questions from around the NFL. I've got a topic that I wanted to talk about the other day, but we kind of held it off until today. Not only discussing the worst teams in the league in 2024, but who's going to be bad beyond that? Because some of these teams, and I'm looking at you, Jaguars, some of these teams who are struggling this year aren't necessarily built to struggle moving forward. But if you just avert your gaze a little bit down the highway and look down at Nashville, you go, oh, that's what it looks like when things aren't going to be good for a very long time. You look at Carolina, with apologies to Brian, you go, oh, that's what it looks like when this is going to be an embarrassment of a franchise for me and my friends who are fans of whatever franchise that is. And so we'll talk about some of those. You also, Brian, know that anytime I see any Tyreek Hill news on the agenda, I got to go grab it, especially when it's non-football news.
Now we talking.
And this is that. We've got some non-football Tyreek Hill news. Apparently, him and his wife, who he loves very much, and would never consider breaking her heart, not with infidelity or having babies outside of the marriage whatsoever. They're about to list their home, and they have listed their home for $9.6 million. We'll break down that listing if we have enough time a little bit later. I want to see if you see the difference between what you think the laptop class is and what the actual laptop class looks like, especially down in South Florida in a $9.6 million mansion. Yowzas. Doesn't hurt she's a real estate agent, by the way. What'd you say there? Can't hear you. Nope. Can't hear you. Ooh,
all right.
There he is.
Yeah, I mean, I hit on the next time, and I was like, hey, hold on. It's not a – go ahead, Aaron.
Well, keep playing like that. You're not going to have your son in that control room with you in another 20 years. You're going to have to step it up, my friend. It's all right. We'll go over the game tape in the commercial break.
The game tape.
That's all right. I'll show you the right way to do it.
All right.
That's all I get, and all right? You just sat here for months telling the sports freak to fight back against me, and you're sitting here letting me roll over you. I see how it works.
Oh, well, we pick and choose our spots here, Aaron.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Enough.
With
Okay.
13
You're
minutes
making a
in,
business decision. I understand.
And 13 minutes in, I want you to be able to, have a full show.
Antonio Pierce would not be happy with you right now. Antonio
He's still
Pierce.
coaching? They still letting him coach?
Not for very long.
He be worried about the wrong thing. LeAngelo Pierce is what I call him.
Did you see Baker Mayfield the other day on the sideline?
No, I didn't.
Baker Mayfield, obviously stressed out in the game. Not only does he lose Chris Godwin, who's having a ridiculous all-pro season.
Yeah.
Not only does he lose Mike Evans, who are aggravating his hamstring. He's going to be on IR, I believe, is back after Week 11's bye. Baker Mayfield sitting out here, goes to the sideline in a heap of upsettedness, and he starts popping Zins. You know what Zins are?
Oh, no.
These are like tobacco pouches.
Oh, okay.
Shove it in your lip. You do a little bit
Like
of the
fuck to it
on the sideline.
Okay. Got a bottle or just straight sideline?
He's just
people
straight
step in it.
sideline working.
All right. Okay, cool, I guess.
I don't really know anyone who does Zin. I used to know some dudes who did chewing tobacco back in the day.
Yeah, I do.
It's a special kind of person that does a little chewing tobacco.
They're different.
Usually a little rougher around the edges.
Yeah.
We used to have a guy that worked on WOKV, and I think he did. No, he was gone before ESPN happened. But we used to have a guy who worked here. He was like a bodybuilder dude. Lifted a lot of weights.
Interesting. I'm trying to see if I remember.
You do remember him. Yeah, he worked over at the station down the hall as like one of the head operator guys.
You have to tell me to break.
A full-time guy. In any case,
I got nothing for you.
He used to do some chewing tobacco in the newsroom. And he'd have a solo cup next to him. And he'd just be like working in the newsroom, and then he'd turn his head right into that cup.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not easily offended or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's maybe one of the grossest things I've ever had to work next to in my entire life. Because you could smell the menthol coming off the cup.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking that that's all his his saliva and spit and stuff like that. You know, a full cup of that. What if it spills? Now it's on the floor.
I mean, at least use a bottle that has a top. I mean, even though it's clear and I can see the, whatever's coming out.
Going down the wrong road, my friend.
It's not an open container.
I basically was just like, hey, man, this dude's driving backwards. You're like, at least honk your horn while you drive backwards. No, man, don't drive backwards. Don't drive backwards. That's the moral of the story.
Well, I never tried chew because of that video that they showed with the dude missing most of his face.
Oh,
I know everybody's seen that.
That's very upsetting when they show face cancer and jaw cancer, throat cancer kind of stuff.
I was like, that's enough for me. How about two of my teammates, though? Practice an hour later. Look. Practice, Aaron Schachter.
Bro, when I was in high school, I'd be smoking cigarettes right outside the back of the gym in between practices.
Y'all are wild. I'm like, man.
You're a teenager. You're invincible. Nothing's going to hurt you.
Well, what are you doing when you're not spitting and we're on the field practicing? Because I know you ain't spitting the whole time. Are you swallowing sometimes?
No,
that's crazy.
That'll make you nauseous.
That's crazy.
You're talking the chewing tobacco, the Zin stuff. That'll make you throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll make you throw up. You don't want to swallow that.
Yeah. That's what I hear. I don't know.
When I was a young man, they used to tell me it enhanced the flavor of whatever you were eating or drinking. But it just... I don't know. It's just a big, dirty, nasty pouch, and you get some of it in your teeth or whatever. It's like, I don't want this.
Now, something they did have, Aaron Schachter. Now, you too young to remember this, man. It was this chewing gum. I think it's called like Big League Chew.
Sure.
And I would act as if
they still have it,
by
the way.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Sometimes things age out. And I would put that in my chin, in my mouth.
Yeah, like a squirrel.
Yeah, but I would just chew. I wouldn't spit any out. The flavor, grape flavor.
Yeah, well, they would fade fast in the Big League Chew.
It would.
And then it would get like a
gum.
piece of cement or a rock in your mouth, just gnawing on this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were basically trying to emulate the baseball players who were in the dugout spitting tobacco.
Fuck to it.
Like the same thing. When I was a kid, they had these candy cigarettes. They had two versions. They had the bubblegum version, which is a piece of gum wrapped in a white piece of paper with some like food-like powder on it. And instead of inhaling, you'd blow out through the paper-wrapped gum.
Teaching them early.
And it'd be a puff of powdery smoke.
Yeah, boy. Teach them young.
Yeah, so like 7, 8-year-olds like me were sitting out there going, look how cool we are. Just smoking fake. I can't wait to smoke the real thing. What a wild world. Then there was a second version of the candy cigarette that wasn't gum. It was more of it's not a chewing candy. It's more of like a chalky candy. Almost like Smarties?
Yeah.
These things were the same kind of material. But again, it was long and white and looked like a cigarette. Maybe it was painted red on the tip. But you'd just kind of bite these things. You wouldn't actually have the smoke puffing out of them. What a wild world. Have this fake cigarette. It'd be like today, kids walking around taking fake fentanyl pills.
They're like, why take fake ones, man? We probably shouldn't make a joke about that, but that's how
It's
we
real
are right
life,
now.
Brian.
Yeah. They're like, why take fake ones?
This is how we get by. It's called gallows humor. Gallows humor. Taking a quick look at the clock. It'd be silly to start. It'd be silly to start doing Jaguars stuff now, Brian. Let's take a break. Let's cleanse the palate. Let's fake smoke a few candy cigarettes and be cool with the rest of the cool guys. Come back, throw some Zin in our mouth, and get started with the show. It's a lot of tobacco talk right there. All right, 904-362-9901. Waiting until there's David to call in with his college football take, and we can get started with the show on the other side. Back in a minute on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny, still a bit breezy, especially closer to the coast. Mainly dry, just a brief coastal shower possible. Temperatures either side of 80 degrees today. Mostly clear this evening, 70s to 60s for nighttime plans. Overnight 60s at the coast, upper 50s well inland. From the Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save thousands on buy one, get one on wedding bands, going on now through October 31st.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Lord License D056341.
On Guarding Your Nest Egg Radio, Mike Lester, founder of Talon Wealth, focuses on a key question many share. Do I have enough to retire?
For starters, we'll do the math for you. But to me, it's really more about lifestyle. I want to find out what's important to you. I want to find out what your expenses are. And then I'm going to give you a realistic expectation moving forward of how your money needs to be invested to accomplish your goals in retirement.
Get to know Mike at guardingyournestegg.com.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Snyderman, can you move things in your mind?
Nope.
Did you read our minds?
I got nothing. Were you thinking of nothing?
No. So, what makes you a superhero?
I can tell if you should repair or replace your air conditioning system.
If it's time to replace your air conditioning unit, Snyder can help. Get 0% interest if you pay in full within 60 months. Visit SnyderAC.com and get the details in a flash.
Flash? I think you mean Snyderman.
CAC 1813307.
I'm Action News Jack's first alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenball. Weather here is unique. It could be bright and sunny one minute and then a downpour the next. That's why mornings are when you need us the most. So you can plan your day, no matter if you're getting ready to go to work or working from your living room, getting the kids ready for school, or ready for lunchtime. I'm on TV explaining how weather is going to affect your day and night ahead, so you're prepared for anything. I'll get you ready on Action News Jax this morning.
The Inflation Fighter is back and saving you thousands at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Right now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, just $500 down and $288 a month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma, just $500 down and $388 a month. You also get no payments till January 2025. It's all at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/save for details.
Hey, Total Wine & More has all your Halloween favorites at the totally lowest prices.
Economical.
Find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let our professional parts people test your battery for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
ESPN.com is your home for all things ESPN 690. Find shows, podcasts, Florida State Seminoles football, contests, and more at ESPN690.com. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Turns out DeAndre Hopkins wasn't that expensive after all. Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. The Chiefs were apparently hot to trot. They were looking. Been involved in the Cooper Kupp conversation with the Rams. They were talking, obviously, to the Titans about DeAndre Hopkins. Talking to the Jets about Mike Williams. Lots of conversations. I think they were in on the Amari Cooper talks, but briefly. The Chiefs, though, you know how they work. They're never going to spend a ton of money bringing anybody in for anything. If anything, that's the time they leave. Looking at you, L'Jarius Sneed. But the Titans and the Chiefs just about finalized the trade. It's going to send DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City. Obviously, that's according to Adam Schefter, was the first to report it. Titans are getting a 25 fifth-round pick. That becomes a fourth-rounder if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl and DeAndre Hopkins plays 60% of the snaps with Kansas City. Luckily for the Titans, they didn't include anything about practices in there because we know DeAndre Hopkins ain't going to practice. I don't care, new team or not. That dude is not going to the practice field. Quite frankly, he almost doesn't need to.
What do you mean by that one?
Well, because he doesn't need to know the playbook. He's the kind of guy where you throw it anywhere in his vicinity, he's going to fist fight you before it gets there. He's catching that ball. Ain't nobody taking balls away from DeAndre Hopkins. No such thing as contested catch rate when it comes to D-Hop.
Oh, that's high praise.
It's just catch rate for D-Hop. I don't care how old this guy is.
Does PFF agree? Does PFF agree?
I haven't looked at it yet.
Don't you worry about it. We're going to find out, man. That's high praise, Aaron Schachter.
This is my book on DeAndre Hopkins. Trade's expected to be completed later today, unless it already has been. Tennessee's going to pick up $2.5 million of Hopkins' remaining $8 million salary.
You think this is a scenario where he does just increase in production because of where he's going, or he's just going to be like, hey, we want you as a stabilizing piece with Rashee Rice out and
I don't really think that the Chiefs necessarily need a stabilizer. Do you?
Well, no, you got the ultimate stabilizer and Patrick Mahomes, of course, Andy Reid. You pick or choose which one is at the top of that particular list. But, I mean, it doesn't hurt, even though they are 6-0. I get it. They're defending champs.
Literally, aren't they the only undefeated team?
Yeah.
Is there another one?
After Minnesota lost, yeah.
All right.
But, I mean, they picked them up for a reason. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, did they see something
for the title run, sure. Here's what they see.
Stabilizing isn't the right word, though. You're right.
Here's what they see. They see that they lost to I'm looking at Tennessee. I want to go back to Kansas City and their record, because while they are 6-0, it's not like we're seeing blowouts from the Chiefs this year, right? And quite frankly, Patrick Mahomes is not playing very Mahomesian, leading the league with 8 interceptions right now.
Mm-hmm.
Only 6 touchdowns. Completion percentage, probably one of the lower ones he's had at 67.9. But, you beat the Ravens by a touchdown. You beat the Bengals by a point. You beat the Falcons by 5. You beat the Chargers by a touchdown. And then you beat the Saints by a bunch, but the Saints were without Derek Carr. And then you beat the Niners by 10, and of course the Niners are significantly injured. You got to believe if the Niners were at full power, that would be either a closer game or the Niners might have won that game. And so I think if you're Andy Reid and, what is his name, Brett Veach, whatever that GM's name is, and the Hunt family, you're like, yeah, things are great now, 6-0, but we're barely 6-0. And shout out to the defense, because the offense ain't getting it done right now. You mentioned the wide receiver issue right now. Obviously, Rashee Rice is hurt. But you don't really have much else in terms of pass game. Yeah, Xavier Worthy, but he's a rookie, right? Mecole Hardman is not contributing. Travis Kelce, believe it or not, is not necessarily really contributing. Juju Smith-Schuster comes with his own set of issues, same as Justin Watson. Sky Moore, who are you turning to in crunch time? Without Rashee Rice and with Travis Kelce having a down year, if not the decline underway, who do you turn to? Well, now you know. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, now you know. Also, you better believe Andy Reid can do something real special with DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce across the middle.
Hey.
There's some magic that's going to happen over there. So I'm not happy to see it. I love DeAndre Hopkins. Not just on the field, but off the field too.
Oh,
what an interesting story.
Not familiar.
His mother was the victim of an acid attack. It was an ex-boyfriend or ex-husband, someone she was romantically linked with.
Oh, geez.
And she tried to break up with him, and he threw it in her face, and she's scarred permanently. I think she might be blind. And then I think he's had close family members pass away. There's been a lot of adversity for DeAndre Hopkins. And he just seems like one of these even-keeled dudes. He's just, like you saw Stephon Diggs this past week get into a Jair Alexander, right? A guy we're going to see this weekend. And he's like, no, I'm never taking the high road. I'm not bigger.
Hey, man.
I'm a small dude.
To this day.
That's not DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is all about business. All about business.
Taking no high road around here.
Ageless. You were a fan of that?
Always.
From Stephon Diggs?
When people don't want to take the high road and they're vocal about it, yeah.
It's interesting to me. The Texans, something looks off. Something looks off, and especially on the road, C.J. Stroud is not the same dude. Not this year. His quarterback rating goes down by 20+. Interceptions jump. Touchdowns sink. Completion percentage sinks. Sacks jump. It's very interesting what's happening with the Texans. As out of it as it feels, being a Jaguars fan right now, this Doug Pederson press conference, a lot of questions are being, basically they're begging Doug to say this is just like 2022. We'll get to those questions in a second. Before we do, I want some updates on some of these injuries. So let's get that out of the way, courtesy of Doug Pederson and his press conference. Foye Oluokun, Andrew Wingard, their practice windows have opened. The media would like to know what are the opportunities we may see them this weekend.
Good. It's it just means that we've opened their window and they can practice now with the team, and not on the side with the trainer. So we'll see each day how they do, how they get back out there and do more football, movement, and then if it looks good, great. If not, we go another week and see next week.
Sounds very non-committal. I mean, I don't blame him. He's not like a soothsayer. He can't see the future. But for all the hype and excitement that the media would love to actually have permission to feel, feels like we may be a little premature right now. We'll see how that goes. What about some other injury updates? Cam Robinson.
Cam's obviously in the protocol, so he won't be out there. TJ's doing fine. Again, day to day, he'll get some work out there. Not with the team per se, but maybe a little bit individual, and then work with the trainers after that.
He's talking about Travis Etienne?
Yeah.
All right. So Etienne, I know it's only Wednesday, but he's not necessarily working with the team. He's pretty limited, it sounds like. And I think his status for this weekend is probably still up in the air, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, which is crazy to me because I could have sworn that I heard that he had a great week of practice last week and they held him out just as a precautionary, deal. But now it sounds like it was a little bit more severe.
Well, if I had hotkeys, I would probably play the dong dong because it could be the trade conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It could be the fact that they want to keep him out just in case they're going to move him. A la Devontae Adams, who, by the way, had a very serious hamstring injury up until the half second he was signed by the Jets, and then with one practice, played 55 out of 57 snaps.
In there, you hear me? In and out of the breaks.
Not only did he play 55 out of 57 snaps, my man did a full launch Superman tackle on a Pittsburgh Steeler as they approached the end zone.
He was warmed up, Aaron.
Apparently for 3 weeks.
Warmed up, that's all.
Yeah. Warmed up indeed. Mari Cooper just went through this too. Mari Cooper was mending while they figured out the trade with Buffalo. Mike Williams right now mending his ego. I don't know what's hurting on Mike Williams, but he's not showing up to the practice. See what happens with Mike Williams over there for the Jets. But that's your injury update from Doug. Cam's in the protocol. Travis Etienne, they're kind of figuring it out. Who knows? Doesn't sound like Doug does. Foye and Dewey are going to practice, but how much? How intense? Will it translate to getting on the field? It all remains to be seen. I did like the follow-up question after the Foye question, Brian. They asked Doug Pederson, could you see a scenario where Foye Oluokun and Ventrell Miller are on the field at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that implies, I understand. The point of the question is Foye is a great linebacker, great off-ball linebacker. Ventrell Miller has played that position very well for you in Foye's absence. Is there a way for both of those guys to contribute simultaneously? I'm not sure anyone is saying then what happens to the Devin Lloyd role. Is the implication Devin is off of that play or also out there as well? But this is what Doug had to say.
Yes.
Stop it, Brian. Are you messing with me?
What?
You trolling me?
What you mean?
You trolling me? The question, could you see a scenario where Ventrell Miller and Foye Oluokun are on the field together?
Yeah.
Doug, what do you say?
Yes.
That's your head coach. That's what he said.
Doug, do you think you could possibly, just possibly, you don't have to just possibly give a longer answer?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll take it into consideration.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thank you for thinking of us. All right. He sees a world where that could happen. And look, with the defensive coordinator you got in Ryan Nielsen, it's very likely. He's rotating everybody. You're at Prisco. It's like a hockey team out there. So you could see that. But you are linebacker rich right now on the Jaguars.
Now, he did, Aaron, and I don't mean to interrupt, but to interrupt, and he did follow up with something a little bit longer. I think it should be
let's see what the follow-up is. Yeah.
No.
Moving forward, Could they be the primary linebackers on the field?
I would say short answer is yes. I think too.
Yeah, you already did that.
You
did the short answer, Doug. You don't need to reiterate. And by the way, the shorter the answer, the less the need for reiteration. We remember. Yeah.
You want your best 11 on the field, whatever that looks like. And
it's just 8 of them are linebackers, unfortunately. It's the problem right now.
That looks like. And sometimes doesn't necessarily have to be the best football player, but the one that does things right the most. But I do still think.
Who is he talking about? Who is he talking about there?
But I do still think that there's enough.
I didn't go back far enough. He said you want your best 11 out there, and it's not always the best football player. Sometimes it's the person who does things right the most.
Is that his Cisco quit moment?
It is, in my opinion. Boy. He's absolutely between the lines right here saying there are people on this roster who are great football players who are not getting it right now. And we will play the people who are getting it right. I want to know who that is. Who's he talking about? You think it's one of these young guys?
I mean, there weren't young guys on the field when Cisco said some people quit. Well, I mean, maybe there were, but I don't know. I think it could be anybody. I think it could be anybody on the roster at this point in time.
I'm looking at the defense right now because we were just talking about linebackers, right? And if you want to go by what PFF says the performance has been, he could be talking about a guy like Antonio Johnson, who's a very skilled player, but has not played well this year. He could be talking about a guy like Darnell Savage, who may play an outsized role this weekend because you're playing against Green Bay, and he happens to know that team very well. Could he be talking about Devon Hamilton?
I think at 2-5, a lot of people are on the table or the potential list of who he could be referencing in that statement.
I mean, Andre Cisco is the guy who called people out, but Cisco's working here with less than a 60 grade on the season. Worse than that, his tackling grade is putrid so far. And we've seen him miss a bunch of tackles. I don't think that's who he was talking about, though.
Yeah.
Curious. Who's the talented person not doing it right, in Doug's opinion?
Of a rotational piece with those guys. I think that's one of the positions that's gotten better. This last couple of weeks it has been the linebacker. I think Devin in the middle's gotten better. Ventrell, we know he's improved. And now with the addition of Foye coming back, if he's ready to go, I think you got your combinations back that you want.
He likes what he sees out of the linebacker room. He's not alone. It's probably the best unit on the defense.
Yeah.
Probably has been all season, even with the injuries. I don't think I'm going out on a limb on that one. What else from Doug that's worth listening to? How about all right, so here's what I'm talking about. Reporters in this press conference were basically begging Doug to compare 2022 in the 3-7 turnaround, where they go 9-8 and get into the playoffs, to this season, 2-5. I think all anybody wants is permission to still have hope, if I had to guess here. I don't understand asking the question to the coach, though. You know what you're going to get. The question is, in 2022, you said you still had a feeling with the team that you could turn things around when you guys were 3-7. You had 7 games left to go in the season. Like I said, we all know how that ended up. They win 6-1. They go 9-8. They win their way into the playoffs. They beat the Chargers, the 4-interception game. Like, what a magical end to the season. Right now, you're 2-5 with 10 games left. Reporters want to know, is there any correlation between the two situations? Douglas.
I would say this. Anything's possible. But, listen, it's a one week at a time mentality, as you know.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, sure, right.
But we're screwed. That's basically, but...
listen, it's a one week at a time mentality, as you know. And it's you just try to go 1-0. You just try to figure out how to win a game this week. But I think we can lean and look back on that time and say, hey, we've been here before. We know what this looks like, and what did we do well then that we can apply to today.
Here's my problem with the question, right? Is like Doug's doing his best to answer the question. I don't have a beef with Doug's answer. It's up to Doug to make the correlation. It's up to Doug as a motivator of men to point out to the team, we've been here before. We've done this. We've won in this position before. Instead, the reporter is giving it to him. The reporter is not only giving him the getaway car, he's printed up the directions on the map. He's like, here, just talk about this. We'll all feel better.
Aaron, he got a story to write, and he don't got time to wait and see if Doug gets around to making that correlation.
That's the point, is that if he doesn't, then that is the story.
Well, it wasn't like he gave his full endorsement of the line that was given to him by the reporter.
There. He got there, in my opinion. Here's where he pivots, right here.
We've been here before. We know what this looks like.
He basically was like, one game at a time, guys. Let's not get carried away. I understand it might look the same on paper. The numbers may look similar, but who we play this week, week 7, is a different team than who we played that year, week 7. And even if they were the same franchise, the rosters would be different. The weather would be different. Things are different.
Okay, that doesn't sound like he's giving it like a 100%. Of course, this is the same thing as 2022.
He wasn't.
No, then I'm with that. That's fine.
But as he's answering and processing through the question, he's having that internal monologue. Mm. And I think he gets to the root of the question in his head, which is, you know what? This is a message of hope. I can spin this. That's essentially what the question's foundation is. Is there any correlation between this disaster, dumpster fire disappointment of a season and the magical one we just had 2 years ago?
Right.
Where we felt this way at 3-7. Doug, please tell us it's going to be okay. Please tell us there's hope. They're looking for permission. And Doug gives it to him right around here.
We've been here before. We know what this looks like. And what did we do well then that we can apply to today?
We won one game at a time. All of them except one. That's what they need to do again. Quick break on the Aaron Schachter Show, 904-362-9901 if you want to jump in on the phones. When we come back, more from Doug and Trevor Lawrence on the Aaron Schachter Show.
World Series on ESPN Radio.
This is the greatest October rivalry in baseball history, the Dodgers against the Yankees.
It's a star-studded showdown between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. It all begins with Game 1 in Los Angeles. Game 1 of the Yankees and Dodgers. Coverage begins Friday at 7 Eastern.
We are ESPN 690, where Jacksonville tunes in to hear the World Series.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer. Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. You know, we've been in business here in Florida since 1928. And if you asked what's been the most important part of our history and what will be the most important part of Underwood's future, the answer's the same thing for both. Our honesty and integrity. Our founder, H.F. Underwood, had a favorite saying, "Know the truth and tell the truth." That's why we're the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in Florida, because we know that you have to have the knowledge about gemstones before you can tell the truth about gemstones. As a result, we've continued educating our staff through the Gemological Institute of America and the American Gem Society. In fact, today, Underwoods has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff of professionals east of the Mississippi River. So come by and see why we're looking forward to the future and let one of our credentialed professionals take care of you. At Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale are the shops of Ponte Vedra.
We have big rolls of carpet.
Wait, Carpet Man, what else do you have?
LVP. Carpet Man's
LVP.
LVP. Carpet Man. Carpet Man's LVP. The luxury beneath your feet. Our prices, they can't be beat. LVP. Carpet Man's LVP. Carpet Man. Carpet Man's LVP. Visit one of our mega flooring stores or go to carpetman.biz. Carpet Man Flooring, your hometown flooring store.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** Invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
David Ammon here with Zero Res. Ammon, I can't believe it's been 20 years since we started Zero Res. Do you remember? You were only 7 years old and we had you cleaning the vans after school.
Yeah, I'm grateful I've always had a job that taught me to work hard, take care of things, and to appreciate our good customers.
October is birthday month for Zero Res, so what are we doing for our customers?
Just say happy birthday Zero Res and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, tile and grout, upholstery, or area rugs.
Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Connect with us on Facebook.
What do you mean by that?
Search for @ESPN690Jax and check out the latest sports news, live stream, or show clip.
Now we talking.
ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. 904-362-9901. Talking about the Jaguars, listening to Doug Pederson at his press conference. Talking to the media. Getting helped out. A little tag team action between the media and the coaching staff. They continue to ask about the correlation between the two seasons, by the way. The very next question. I guess that wasn't a good enough. Or did we actually get through the answer? Let's finish up that answer. This is where Doug did his pivot.
Been here before. We know what this looks like, and what did we do well then that we can apply to today. And there's a lot of ball ahead of us.
By the way, we've been hearing that phrase since week one. So at some point, we are halfway through the season. At some point, that feeling has to change, where there's not a lot of ball ahead of us anymore. There's only a medium amount. And then eventually a little amount of ball ahead of us. And then no ball. No, we've done it. We are who we are.
And yet, I think each week now becomes a little bit more important, for us as a team.
Again, same thing since week one. And the message isn't wrong. I'm not saying he's inaccurate. Just like there's only so many ways we can hear it before the reporters go, okay, that's the answer. That's the answer. The very next follow-up question. Are you less worried about where you're at as a team this year because you have a lot of core players from that 2022 season still on the roster? Again, desperately trying to tie 2024 to 2022 so we can all feel better about 2 and 5.
Obviously that's a positive. Guys that have been there with us and gone through that, And listen, you're gonna have moments where you're gonna have in this league, you're gonna have a lot of highs, and you're gonna have some lows. And again, it's what you learn from each one and apply to this week and today, and how you use that, I think, moving forward, and lean on your leadership, lean on the guys that have kind of been there and done it, and use them as sort of, sending the message to the guys in the locker room.
To Doug's credit, this is less about 2022 and more about we bring mature men into this locker room to be leaders for moments like this, for adversity. When things are going great, you don't necessarily need it as much. But when things are going poorly and people with less fortitude are looking to bail or make, as Antonio Pierce calls them, business decisions, that's where the leadership really becomes so important inside that locker room. But enough with 2022.
Yeah. I mean, please.
Yes, it would be great to see the Jaguars go on a run and make the playoffs. The whole city would be elated. That could be what's happening right now, for all we know. It's looked good.
Yeah.
But if it happens, it's not because it's happened before. If it happens, it's because of what's happening now. And one of the things that's happening now is Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, this kid is on a roll. Have you checked out his pacing for the season?
Yeah.
He's pacing to catch over 1,200 yards.
Yeah.
As a rookie for the Jaguars.
At 513 right now.
I think the rookie record for the franchise is Justin Blackmon at 800 some odd yards.
What was our bet? Do you remember we did those it wasn't bets, but we were just it might have been a conversation about Brian Thomas and where he would end up catch-wise.
I told you,
I
thought, because he's a rookie, I thought his ceiling was going to be 50, 60 catches. And I thought because he's a speedster, his ceiling on his yards would be like 700, 800 yards. I mean, clearly it looks like he's going to eclipse both those numbers if he keeps up this pace or if it grows, which is entirely possible, especially if you trade someone like Christian Kirk, who's rumored to be on the move. So he might come in over. Anyway, he's gone against some pretty top-notch defensive backs so far this year. I've been watching the slow-mo replay over and over again from last weekend. You're watching on that long pass catch on Christian Gonzalez.
Uh-huh.
He's got Gonzo. He's wearing this guy like a backpack. Gonzo's got his hands all over the front of BTG. He actually tips the ball. But BTJ just grabs it.
I'm going to need that.
Like a vacuum Velcro. Just give me that. I don't think anyone thought he'd be the contested catch guy. Not coming out of college. I think people looking at Malik Neighbors at LSU going, yeah, that's that dude. And they look at Brian Thomas and they're like, oh, that's the fast guy. But he fights for those balls. Now, I don't know enough about route running to know what he knows and doesn't know, but you listen to the experts, they're like, wait till he learns something. Okay.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy
when
to
I hear
think.
that. I'm like, okay, let me wait then.
But I will tell you
let
this.
me watch.
I did get to see Devontae Adams versus what I've watched from Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson on the Jets, one of these highly talented kids, a couple years in the league, hasn't really had a mentor in the NFL. You watch Devontae Adams. I'm talking body position. When Garrett Wilson catches a ball, he catches a ball. When Devontae Adams catches a ball, he boxes out defenders while he catches it. Midair, on the ground, whatever.
Yeah.
So if that's like what they're talking about, if they're talking about the way you use your body, the way you come out of your breaks on the route, the kind of disguise and misconception, misidentification you can give to a defensive back, if all that's coming, I mean, you got one of the elite talents here in Jacksonville, if that's the case. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Hold on.
Maybe
Say it one
not.
more time.
Can't wait.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Can't do it. That's
Can't do it.
Oh, you know what? No, I took that can't wait off.
Okay.
Yeah, I refreshed the hotkey page, and I didn't make a second one. That would have made the second
Break
page.
my heart. Shout out to Bart Scott.
Yeah.
Another guy who ignored me on Instagram. We tried to book him as a guest. Still love him, though. Shout out, Bart. We'll be back on the Aaron Schachter Show, 904-362-9901. Quick break for the Sports Center. See you on the other side.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Meet Mike Lester.
Talent is not going to be the right choice for every single person out there, right? Because everybody is different. We do well when our clients do well. We're literally sitting on the same side of the table with them. We're in this together.
Yeah.
When you do well, I'll do well. Once we have that understanding, then we can come up with a plan that's designed to help you be successful in retirement.
Find out more at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
From every street
Action News Jax is on the scene right now.
to every screen, when news breaks, minutes matter.
Moments ago, we got this update.
Where accuracy is the most important.
Tomorrow's a first alert weather day as thunderstorms heat up in the afternoon.
Action News Jack's Tanika Hughes, Ben Becker, and Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. We break the stories that impact you.
We're told it's a full-scale investigation.
Weeknights at 5, 5:30, and 6. Your #1 rated newscast is Action News Jax.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Live from the Anajar and Levine studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news from ESPN's Shams Charania. The NBA is likely to begin an investigation into the 76ers surrounding center Joel Embiid and whether there's been a violation of the participation policy. Embiid did not play in the preseason, out at least the first 3 regular season games due to left knee injury management. Sixers president of basketball ops Daryl Morey told ESPN earlier this month they'll try to keep Embiid and Paul George out of back-to-backs this season. Chiefs bringing in a big-name wide receiver, working to finalize a trade to acquire DeAndre Hopkins from the Titans for a conditional 2025 fifth-round pick. Certainly, Kansas City has a need at the position due to injuries. ESPN NFL analyst Andrew Hawkins.
He gives them another reliable option. Like for Patrick Mahomes, someone who can extend the play the way that he does, he needs guys who are reliable options that understand what he's seeing from his own defense and also have the ability to make contested catches. And that's what DeAndre Hopkins still brings to the table.
Brownsville star quarterback Jameis Winston this week. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey takes over play calling duties. Panther star QB Bryce Young Sunday in place of the injured Andy Dalton.
Why pay more for a great shave? Choose Barbasol, America's #1 brand of shaving cream. Barbasol's thick and rich lather gives you a close, comfortable shave for just half the price of gels. Barbasol.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
Ready? Yeah. Turn up your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. 4 o'clock hour on deck. Me and Brian Middleton with you guys until 5. And Brian, a little bit of breaking news from the home. Just got an urgent text from my wife.
Now we talking. Now we talking.
Today at the kids' school's report card day.
Oh, okay.
She says, excellent report cards.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, man.
Schachter's are built different.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Good for them.
My mom likes to remind me what a failure I was in school.
Boy, yeah, that graduation story is always that's gonna sit in my spirit for the rest of my life.
I showed my daughter too. I saved my final report card from high school.
Okay.
In like a scanner.
Nice.
And I saved it in my Google Photos. I'll pull it up to show my oldest every once in a while when she's feeling like she's not doing good enough. Be like, just remember, your dad graduated with a 64 average. He was a senior.
Hey, man, they call you a graduate, man.
They barely called me a graduate.
Nah, they said it with the same strength that they said all 800 other senior class
800? You don't know my school, bro. Yeah, when I was going into high school, they had just created a bunch of new high schools in New York City.
Okay.
City. And so they didn't really have the real estate. So the Board of Education bought up a bunch of these business buildings.
Okay.
So instead of a school, I went to high school in a 14-floor office building.
That messes up the experience, but okay.
We own the whole building. It's not like we had to share it with other people in offices.
Oh.
And so when it comes to classrooms, that's no big deal. But we didn't have a gym. But it was pretty dope. Lunch was on the 14th floor.
Yeah, boy.
You're talking panoramic windows all around this thing, overlooking downtown Manhattan. At the time, the World Trade Center stood a block away from us.
Like the laptop class.
Yes, New York Stock Exchange right next door.
Dang, the World Trade Towers were a block from you guys?
Literally, a half block away. Right up the street.
Dang.
Yeah. Those wild times. Wild times. The point is that when I was a freshman, they only accepted 250 kids as a public school, but it was small.
It's public school. What do you mean you're only accepting 250 kids?
We didn't have enough teachers because it's a brand new school. I think we had like 14 teachers.
All right.
So we took 250 freshmen. The following year, whoever stayed, and then they took another 250 freshmen. And they just did this every year until you had 4 classes. By the time I was a senior, we started the year with 76 kids as seniors. By the time we walked at Trinity Church, shout out to Trinity Church where Alexander Hamilton is buried, 42 kids walked for graduation.
Clown show, man. What kind of clown show senior classes?
42 kids.
Boy, they were pushing y'all to the finish line, some of y'all.
We walked down the aisle to Puffy's I'll Be Missing You.
I bet y'all did. Look at y'all.
Shout out to Biggie Smalls, who got gunned down tragically earlier that year. It was a big deal at my school.
Nah, shout out to Sean Combs. Don't do that.
Hold on, we're not done yet.
Okay.
Because in partnership with Diddy, we also walked down the aisle to R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly. Those are the two songs. No pomp and circumstance for my school. There's no band. There was no symphony, no orchestra because we didn't have enough kids. The cheerleading team was 3 girls.
Every step I take.
The full basketball roster was 10 people. It was probably the biggest club in the school. Debate club? No. Young Entrepreneurs Association Computer Club? No. Basketball team, 10 guys. Got tossed off of that real quick. With me and my 64 average.
Every move I make.
Dude, my mom was so mad. I'm sitting up there on stage just kind of having fun with my friends dancing. Like we're supposed to be sitting still, standing still as we like march down the aisle. Because there's only, 42 of us. They weren't going to like seat us in the seats. We had to stand on stage the whole time. And then they just call our name and we'd walk to the front, grab the diploma and walk back to the rafter or to the bleachers.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I was dancing to Puffy. I was dancing to R. Kelly. My mom's sitting there just.
I can't wait to tell him how much I don't think of him.
You know what I mean? I caught a glance at her face, too. I was like, oh, she's not happy about this.
Let me go back to dancing.
Like, this is my last day.
Look at her, man.
This is the last time I get to play with the boys. She ain't going to steal my joy. You don't like that. All right. Now I know. No, I know for next time. You don't like that. You don't like when I play with the boys. I understand.
Why? Why?
They're my friends.
Why double down?
The boys are my guys. Man. You never played with the boys?
Hey, man. Hey, man.
When you went to school, you never played with the boys.
I beg your pardon, bro.
I'm just doing a little research. Just trying to figure it out. 904-362-9901 is the phone number to the Aaron Schachter Show. Till this, David, welcome to the show. You got to tell me, David, you ever play with the boys?
Well, I've probably been known to hang and play with the boys from time to time, but I'm probably getting drugged down a road I don't need to go down.
Okay, what's up, man?
So I'm an old timer, okay, and y'all were talking earlier in the show about chewing tobacco and the candy and the real tobacco.
Yeah. What do you got?
Well, I used to play. When I played high school football up in these little small towns up in South Carolina.
Get that finger ready on the button, Brian.
No, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it G-rated.
Well, I don't know, David, because you come from a different time. Sometimes we hear things from older folks, and they go, "Don't worry, it was a different time." We're all looking around, going, "Oh my God."
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
These boys will come out with a wad of tobacco in their mouth, playing football, chewing tobacco, playing football.
End up choking on the thing when you get hit in the chest.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about getting choked, but I have seen and probably been spit on a few times by some of these guys. They were some bad. I mean,
terrible.
These were men boys. Boy men. However you want to say it, but
Brian's getting very uncomfortable right here. Actually, okay.
Because our retaliation. What's that, Brian?
I said, don't listen to Aaron, David.
Well, you did look very uncomfortable. When he was talking about the men boys, you looked very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
But our retaliation would be Friday night basketball season. We'd load 6 or 8 head of people up in a car.
Yep.
Stop by the little jiffy store and get 6 or 8 dozen eggs, and we'd go egging.
You go egg a house.
I don't know. People.
Okay.
People. Yes, sir. Walking out the gymnasium, walking down the side. We had some arch rivals up there, man, in little small country towns up there, boy.
I bet.
There was some rough blood going up there.
I remember egging people was all fun and games, and then at some point, I think I was like 12, 13 years old, some of these dudes on the block started freezing the eggs before Halloween. I'm telling you, man.
This is evil, man.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'd be walking home from middle school or something like that. It's a good 6-7 block walk, whatever, me and my friends. And then you'd see the older boys come running down the street. You're like, oh, man, we're going to get it. And then suddenly they throw basically like a rock, frozen egg, and go right off your dome. It's like, oh.
And laughter.
Oh, boy, were they laughing. I wasn't laughing so much. David, let me ask you, because you're part of the elder citizenry, was there things from back when you were a kid where you look back and you go, can you believe that they thought this was okay for kids? Like one of those things for me, while you're thinking about it, there used to be a toy, Brian. It was like a little tube. It looked like a little metal toothpaste tube.
Okay.
But inside of it was very, it was almost like bubble gum-like, but it was plastic. And you'd put it on the end of a little straw. They used to give out these little Coke straws to kids. And you put the little flexible bubble gum-like plastic on the end of it, and you blow a bubble, and it would blow a bubble of this plastic that wasn't gum. And you could play with this plastic bubble. The problem, though, was all kinds of horrible chemicals inside the plastic. So the kids who would blow up the plastic sometimes would then re-inhale those fumes.
Yeah,
Boy, was that a good time. Let me tell you something, buddy. Come on.
Seeing colors out here.
You know what I mean?
Seeing stars, seeing sounds, whatever that saying is.
You know, I tell my kids all the time, you know, the things we did. I said, you know, I'll tell my daughter and my son stuff we did. I say, oh, and we even had an automobile. We could drive down the road if we needed to go somewhere. Because they look at me like I'm so old. I say, oh, they had automobiles back then. You know, I mean, it's not that long ago. But I'm 58, so I got a few on me. But
you're not that old. I thought you were way. Oh, okay. You start talking about how old you are. I'm thinking you got a 6 or a 7 in your age. You're 58's not old.
No, I'm closing in on a 6. But pretty much everything we did growing up is you know, you wouldn't even be allowed to do it now. I mean, just everyday life. It was we probably grew up in the best time that any generation's ever known.
Every generation feels the same way, though. I used to look at my mom and my dad saying stuff like that, like, look at these boomers. They have no idea. And now I'm looking at young people going, they don't even know. They have no idea, these sheltered children and their computers.
Oh, no clue, man. What used to get outside and play with knives and sticks and run around with sharp objects in your hand, and you survive to talk about it. How about that?
Man. How about that? Even the games we used to play. We used to play a game. I don't even know. I probably could say the title of the game on the show, but I won't. Let's just say it's another word for your derriere, but it's that word and then the word up, right? And basically what happened is you'd be playing on a handball court. You guys know handball, or is that like a Northeast thing?
No, yeah. I know what handball is.
You play on a handball court. You throw the ball against the wall. If you catch it on a fly, the person's got to run and touch the wall before you can peg them in the back with the ball. And boy, you always got the biggest rocket arms coming out to play that game. You never had some nerdy kid from algebra class go, I want to play that game. It was always like some dude with a mustache in 7th grade. Like, really, this guy? All right.
Why didn't y'all just call it like wall ball?
Well, because you throw it at the person's butt as they run to the wall.
All right. I mean, it's cool.
Is it cool?
Have you ever? We used to play peg the stick, where you spread your fingers out. And you took a knife, like a Barlow knife, pocket knife.
Oh, no, you go tap. Yeah.
Yeah, then you drop the knife and you just hope and pray it
it's not
in your hand or through your hand.
Yeah, it's not even a skill. It's just, I hope I don't stab myself. And if I do, because it's 30, 40 years ago, I'm not allowed to cry. I got to take it. I got to be like, what? It don't hurt. Yeah. It don't hurt. Put some Windex on it.
So anyway, the tobacco story got me thinking I had to call in. But,
no doubt.
Leave it to me to derail the show an hour later.
Look, this is the best show when it gets derailed. I can only talk about Doug Pederson and his non-answers for so long.
That guy's exhausting sometimes, man. So the whole franchise.
Well, I appreciate you sharing today, man. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a great day.
See ya.
Take care, man.
Till this David.
To this day.
He knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure if Kilkenny is listening, he's going to have 6 or 7 games that involve like a wood stick, a yarn, and like 3 kids who like they probably were bullying at the time. You never know. Back in the day stuff.
Frozen eggs, huh?
You don't know about frozen eggs.
Frozen eggs.
You know about itchy balls from the trees?
Say it again.
These, I don't know if they grow down here, but they're like these spiky balls that fall down from the tree.
Are they smaller?
Yeah, they're smaller than a golf, like ping pong ball
I know
size.
what you're talking about.
And so we used to collect these, and like you'd have a water balloon fight, but instead you'd have a itchy ball fight. You just wail it at somebody. They're not looking at you. You hit them in the side of the eye with a spiky ball. They're like, oh, they got to run home and possibly go to the eye doctor because you just blinded a kid by accident.
Y'all should have taken the level of difficulty up and get the really tight, unripe, I don't even know how you describe it, pine cones that haven't expanded yet.
Ooh.
You know when they are like almost green?
Yeah.
And they're just real tight and they're spiky?
And they'll fly, yeah.
Those which you should have really fought with.
That's
and see
not bad.
What game time is.
That's not bad.
But that's dangerous either way.
We used to play Spud, which is very similar to the other game I just talked about.
Okay.
Spud, you stand in a circle in the middle of the street. One person's got the ball. Everyone is assigned a number, and you all know each other's numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's say I'm number 1. I throw the ball up in the air. I call somebody else's number out. 3. But as soon as I throw the ball up in the air, everyone scatters. You run and hide.
Okay.
And as soon as 3 catches the ball, he yells freeze. Then he gets 3 steps towards whoever the closest person is, and then you got to wail on them with the ball.
Okay.
You got to peg them with the ball. All of these games kind of include throwing something at somebody.
And that's why all of us were in shape when we were kids, as opposed to today. The kids might be in shape, or, the kid around the corner may be severely not in shape.
Yeah. You got to run for your life when you were a kid. All the time.
For 3 hours after school. You hear me? So you already was in school. You had recess in school.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like, I used to get home as a 7-year-old, 6-year-old, like literally throw my book bag on the lawn and just go play.
And be like, hey, man, that homework was done in school.
What?
Stop playing with me.
What homework?
That book bag was light. It didn't even have paper in it. You just had that book bag, nothing in it, throwing it on the ground. I'm with you, man.
I don't know. My kid one of my kids is 8. He asked me if he could ride the bike around the neighborhood with his friend. We live in a very safe neighborhood, laptop class and all. I was nervous about it.
You should be.
He's only 8.
This isn't 95 or whenever you were his age. Like, this is,
I don't think there are more people getting taken now. I think we just know about it more.
I don't know about that one.
Really?
Compared to whenever you were your kid, you're talking about your oldest? Well, not your oldest.
No, my middle.
Your middle?
Yeah, he's 8.
Yeah, so whenever you were 8 compared to now,
we can look it up in the
it's
break.
Way more dangerous.
I would bet that it's not.
Absolutely is.
We could look it up.
That means Aaron doesn't agree with me, but I'm standing firm on this one.
Stand on business.
I definitely agree. It's way more dangerous.
All right. It feels weird to now do something else here. We should go to break and come
Cleanse
back.
palates.
Yeah, man. You like that, the cleanse palate.
Something like that.
I got to take you to a restaurant where they cleanse your palate.
Hey, man, 3 forks is on my
You like that, huh? Brian's got a new favorite out there.
But the mashed potatoes? Everything.
You didn't have the potatoes au gratin, did you? That's the cheesy potatoes? Did they make those?
I
can't
have
remember.
Mashed potatoes.
It's a must-have. I think they did have the cheesy potatoes. I know we ate the Brussels.
Yes, Brussels.
Those are some good
Everything
Brussels
was really
right
hit,
there.
man. I'll be honest with you.
Buddy.
Free advertising right there. There you go.
Well, we need some free steaks is what we need. They need to come to the table. A little quid pro quo. Just between us friends. You don't got to tell nobody. There will be signs. I'm doing a show like, we'll be back in a couple of minutes on the Aaron Schachter Show.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny, still a bit breezy, especially closer to the coast. Mainly dry, just a brief coastal shower possible. Temperatures either side of 80 degrees today. Mostly clear this evening, 70s to 60s for nighttime plans. Overnight 60s at the coast, upper 50s well and Lind. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save thousands on buy one, get one on wedding bands. Going on now through October 31st.
Hey, boss. How's it going?
Just dandy. Been running errands today. Let's see, I've been at a large warehouse, a hospital, and a shopping plaza. You want to know what they all had in common?
They all had safe touch security systems?
What? How'd you know I was gonna say that?
Because it's what you do. You complain about safe touch.
Whatever. But did you know they're protecting things like big warehouses and stuff now?
Yeah, big business, small business, they're all lining up when they find out Safe Touch is offering up to 50% off a state-of-the-art security system.
What are you, on Lester Jackson's payroll now?
Sorry, boss. Just dropping the facts on you.
Well, go leave your dropping somewhere else. And find me another business that doesn't have Safe Touch.
You got it, boss.
No alarm system gives you peace of mind like Safe Touch. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Special pricing is for a limited time only. Call 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license EF 2000-2049.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a gravy taster from Jacksonville, Florida, me, Dennis Mosley.
Hi, Ken.
Okay, Dennis. 100 plumbers surveyed, top answer on the board. What does it mean if someone says your home has hard water?
It's made of ice? Let's see, hard water. Oh, is it club soda mixed 4-to-1 with vodka?
Last chance, Dennis. What is hard water?
Is it that lime scale stuff that makes my taps all crusty?
That's right, Dennis. And a water treatment system from Bueller Air and Plumbing will eliminate troublesome lime scale deposits that can ruin your expensive appliances and let your neighbors know for sure that you are cool.
I wonder if I can get me a gin and tonic faucet.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, good news. This isn't an attorney commercial. So listen up. You want a pool but keep waiting, right? Well, stop the waiting and call Palace Pools. Start enjoying your backyard like you've always wanted to. Visit PalacePools.com today.
Jasmine is Northeast Florida's only LGBTQ+ youth center, offering health and mental health programs, housing supports, and teen and family initiatives. Jasmine is the safe place our LGBTQ+ young people need right now. Partner to support our effort. Visit jasmine.org today.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Hey, you.
What's good, mobile?
Connect with us on Instagram. Search for @ESPN690Jax and check out the latest sports news. We're ESPN 690.
What?
We are ESPN 690.
As long as you track it.
Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
What story writes itself? You talking about the graduation?
The great, the great grouping of R. Kelly, Puff Daddy, and Aaron Schachter at a graduation.
At the Aaron Schachter High School for Leadership and Public Service graduation.
That should be an icebreaker story. And your mom looking on with disapproval, and rightfully so.
Disapproval would be a very nice way to say how she was looking on at me. Yeah. We weren't in a good place to be in my mom back then, though. I was making it real hard for her. I'm a single mom. I'm sitting here trying to make her pay more attention to me than she can afford to pay with 3 kids. I was just being a problem out there.
Should be all right.
To this day, still a problem.
Okay.
To this day.
Wait.
I still make people parent me.
What?
Including you, by the way. I put you in charge of a lot of stuff having to do with me.
That's more delegation. It's not a parenting
You think so?
thing. Yeah, it's not a parenting thing.
All right. Maybe as you feel more confident telling me to get to commercial break immediately.
Nah, that's a part of the show. You remember, Aaron, do you remember yesterday?
I do,
When you
sometimes.
actually went to commercial break, but you forgot that you hadn't given away the FSU tickets?
I do remember that,
So
yeah.
then, like, 7 to 9 seconds later on, of bump music, you come back and said, hey. And then you gave away the tickets.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
Do we have another pair?
I told Bree we'll give it away next
okay.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do have another pair to give away later.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to remember to do it. That's my fault. We got to get more consistent there. I got to remember.
Florida State all around needs to get more consistent.
Okay.
So we need to
enough.
hold ourselves accountable.
Yep. DJ Ukulele needs to hold himself accountable whenever he's healthy.
I'll have to see him one day. I can't wait because I'm.
Where's he
going to
be? At Hertz Car Rental?
It won't be in the NFL locker.
Okay. Yeah. You know who is in an NFL locker room?
Yeah, what?
Trevor Lawrence. Let's get to the press conference. Oh, you know what? Instead of that, I'm sorry. I actually wanted to ask you something before we went to break. Are you able to do this now? Or you want to wait a couple of minutes?
You can do it now.
On these three. I was looking at a lot of these trade proposals that are being offered out there by a few of the analysts and blogs and what have you. We got one from PFF. We got one from Bleacher Report, one from ESPN. And so the three that I've had the hardest time reconciling in my brain are any trade proposal that includes Travis Etienne, any trade proposal that includes Christian Kirk, and any trade proposal that includes, if you could believe it or not, Evan Ingram. Because I've seen a few of these now multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to go through with you is on each of those trades, I want to rank them based on a few things. Number one, how realistic is something like this? Because they all feel pretty far from real right now. Number two, how much does it help the franchise to do this move? Let's start with Travis Etienne, because Tank Bigsby's success has brought about these questions. Last year, not one person would have thought that this was an opportunity the Jags would have to even have this conversation about Travis Etienne. And it's unfortunate for Etienne if he has been injured, because it's really a crappy way to end your tenure here in Jacksonville, which at least the fans have enjoyed. We got love for Travis Etienne. Him and Trev, been together since college.
Yeah.
Got the brother playing at at Georgia now. Like all kinds of ties to the area, at least to the southeast. So how realistic do you think it is now with Tank Bigsby playing out of his mind that Travis Etienne get traded? Because I would put it on a scale of 1 to 3. 1 being not realistic at all, and 3 being very realistic. I would put it at a 2 right now.
Okay.
Here's why. First of all, he's a dynamic talent. You're not talking about trading a guy for a 6th rounder. That's not what you're getting for Travis Etienne. All right? Not only is he a good running back, he's a great pass-catching running back. Dynamic player. And there are teams with needs for that specific kind of player. Specifically, the name that keeps jumping out of everybody's page are the Cowboys. Cowboys went out this offseason, was like, oh, Rico Dowdle will be the guy. We'll just pick up Zeke and Dalvin Cook and be fine. Not exactly. But a guy like Travis Etienne could change the fortune of that team. I mean, he's basically told Tony Pollard part 2 for the Cowboys if he goes. So how realistic do I think it is? I think it's like a 2 for this reason. Etienne's contract is favorable for the team that would be getting him. Still on a rookie deal. And next year, team control for the 5th-year option. And then you got to decide what you're doing with the guy. But any team trading for someone at the trade deadline isn't worried about 3 years from now. They're worried about this season. Also realistic because you'll get some kind of return for Travis Etienne. You're probably not getting a 1st or a 2nd round pick.
I was going to ask you, like, what are you thinking could come back, for an Etienne trade?
PFF was the one who suggested it.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily saying what they think they'd get back. I got to imagine a third-round pick or in that neighborhood. Maybe we get Dallas's third, and then we give them a fifth, and they give us a fourth as well, or something like that. Some kind of offset player and pick thing or cash thing. But it's not like the Jags are hurting under the cap. It's not like they're itching to get rid of Travis Etienne. It's just there could be value there. If the Jags were going to blow it up and rebuild the whole thing, this would be a way to stockpile those draft picks. Especially because you have the backup plan already on the team. You hate to see him do it. What are your thoughts there?
I agree with your ranking or your scaling of a 2. But as far as the contract is concerned, it's the opposite direction for the Jags, as opposed to the point that you made for the team that would be trading for Etienne. But for the reasons that you said, you're in his rookie contract, but after next year, he's going to be looking to get paid. You know what's interesting, though? I do remember, and I'm not going to put words in Travis Etienne's mouth, paraphrasing again, someone would have to YouTube it or Google it. Do you remember the beginning of, I think it was this offseason or going into the end of last season, some of the major running backs were they got on a phone call together, and it was like Saquon, I think like Derrick Henry or whatnot.
It was last year. It was a running back Zoom discussing the pay scale.
Okay, yeah, but there was an uproar, especially from that positional group across the league. And I feel like I can't remember which outlet Travis Etienne Jr. was on, but he was just saying, basically like, hey, you should get paid what you earn. You know what I mean? So all of that stuff will take care of itself as long as you are, earning what it is that you're producing on the field. And so I don't know why that just stood out to me just now, but he's dealt with injuries on the one hand, but on the other hand, when he is right, even when things are a struggle, you think about last season during the 8-3 run, you brought it up again, I believe earlier this show.
Yep.
He was with some of the top guys in the league, with the McCaffreys, with the Barkleys. We were talking about rushing yards.
Yeah, scrimmage yards, yeah.
And so
I think he was second in the league for a few weeks.
Yeah, and so I think from a Jags point of view, if you are filling out deals and you're feeling the pressure of a couple of weeks from now when that trade deadline's over with, and you think you can make a deal, I think you could get very good value for him, because I think he is going to want to get paid, and it would be just like the Jaguars' luck to not do any type of extension or figure out anything right now. The next season, he has a Josh Jacobs kind of year. I'm sure you can start franchising, things of that nature, but that never really feels right.
He's a first-round pick, so I do believe you get 2 cracks at the franchise tag on him too.
But yeah, I agree.
Running backs
it's a
don't
2.
want to deal with that. Yeah. How much would it break your heart if they traded Travis Etienne? It'd be heartbreaking.
Yeah, it sucks. At this point now, I'm a little bit invested. I'm like, hey, you know what? I want Trevor and Travis to retire here.
Yeah, me too.
That's not going to happen.
But this is the point I was making last week, 2 weeks ago. You become emotionally invested in some of these guys.
Yeah.
Like a Christian Kirk or even an Andre Sisco, where I've been watching this dude just wanting him to be great because we drafted him and I liked the pick. And it's almost as if you kind of close your eyes to maybe possible upgrades elsewhere. I don't know. I feel that way kind of about Ventrell Miller. I would love to see this dude get more time, but I like Foye Oluokun as a person almost more than I like him as a football player. And it's not going to be Devin Lloyd on a rookie contract. That's the odd man out. So it can make it a little tough. Let's move on to Christian Kirk. This is from Dan Graziano. Jacksonville's Christian Kirk, very tradable contract, $14.5 million in salary this year, $15.5 million next year, and it's not guaranteed. Teams like to see that. Jacksonville obviously going nowhere. BTJ emerging as the number 1 wide receiver here. Christian Kirk could possibly be on the move. He also makes a ton of sense for a team like the Chiefs. Of course, this was written before DeAndre Hopkins. I believe that's no longer the case for the Chiefs. They've got what they need. They're moving on. They're not coming for another wide receiver. But Graziano points out because of the Andy Reid, Doug Peterson connection, it would have been easy for Kirk to come over and do some of the stuff that he's already doing here, doing it over there. But there are other teams who want to make a run in need of a wide receiver 1.5, wide receiver 2. For instance, if the Bills didn't have 4 guys they tried to pass off as their main wide receivers before they got Amari Cooper, You could see them tooling up and trying to go get a guy like Christian Kirk now that they got Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers could be in on Christian Kirk. That's another team that is desperate for more receiving help as they try to make a playoff run. I think there are a few of those teams out there like this. The Cowboys, believe it or not, I don't think Jerry Jones is going to do it. Jerry Jones seems likely to stand pat and not do anything for his Cowboys right now. But that's a team in need of another receiving option. So there are opportunities there. The contract is favorable. How realistic is it? I actually think it's the most realistic out of the three we're talking about.
Interesting.
So I'll give it a 3. That doesn't mean I think it's definitely going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the team likes Christian Kirk too much to do this. I think they see value outside of what he brings to the field. I think they can redo the contract in the offseason or just write up a new one, extend him. I think that Kirk loves playing with Trevor and the franchise and that they'd find a way to make everyone happy. Remember, Christian Kirk, I think, is only 29. But, you sign him up for another 4-year deal. That may be the last long-term contract he gets in the league. He may want it that way as far as Jacksonville's concerned. But the contract, in addition to the redundancy, you got Parker Washington waiting in the wings. You got BTJ as your wide receiver number 1. You got Evan Ingram as your possession guy across the middle. You can kind of afford to walk away from Christian Kirk. I don't love it. I love it less than I love moving away from Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
But I think it's the most realistic. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't really refute any of the points that you made. I will say that scale of a 3, that ranking of a 3 on that scale may change for me depending on how they look against Green Bay. I think that out of the 3 that we will talk about as far as potential trades or these ones that you found, these articles that you found, you're right. I think that Captain Kirk is the most likely. But if they start to look as good as they've looked in the past 2 out of the 3 games, meaning the Jags, and if the offense is kind of cooking a little bit more, and the offensive line is keeping Trevor, especially this week, if they're keeping Trevor upright and not really getting touched against this Green Bay defense, then you may have an entire organization that's just like, all right, let's roll the die. And it's a 1 on this scale for all these guys. We're keeping everybody just to try to make a final push because now it's finally coming together. But out of those 3, yeah, I do see that Christian Kirk would probably be I hate to say the one that I could stomach the most out of these 3. I can't see the return that you would get for what you'd be losing. I can't imagine that.
If you trade Christian Kirk, you're getting a 5th back, if that.
And then at that point, I'm like, he's more value to me than a 5th round pick.
Yeah, he provides way more value to the franchise than a 5th round pick.
So
you'd be getting rid of him to clear out the cap space for next season, to allow your pass receivers a little more target opportunity, to get a guy like Parker Washington on the field some more. That's the reason you trade a guy like Christian Kirk, not because you think the draft capital you get back is going to help you rebuild.
If we're doing that, then some other people need to go ahead and get traded out too. From top to bottom. People that wear suits and don't put on uniforms, too. If we're doing that now.
Who are you trading Trent Baalke to?
I don't know. Who would take him?
Winn-Dixie.
Trinity Christian? Oh, Winn-Dixie. There you go. All right. I keep saying Trinity Christian.
What's your beef with Trinity Christian?
I don't have beef. You know what? I think Trent Baalke could help out Trinity Christian. I don't even know their record. They probably have a good record, but he probably could do something. He has NFL connections. He
does have NFL connections.
High school kids, hey, man, listen, you want to get to the league, listen to what I say, but not as a GM.
Yeah, exactly. 5-3, 2-0 in the district.
Okay, yeah. Trent Baalke's good for another win.
He could help.
He's good for another win.
It's the Trent Baalke effect. The last one we're going to do before we go to break. This is really the first time I'm hearing it, but it shocked me. I read this. I was like, oh, wow. This one's hard to fathom. I'm struggling to make this a realistic thing, but there are reasons why it became more realistic this year. We're talking about Evan Ingram. Bleacher Report proposed this one. They think the Denver Broncos should go trade for Evan Ingram immediately. Tight end a weakness on the Broncos. Bo Nix, young rookie quarterback, looking for a sure thing as far as receivers go. You got Cortland Sutton at the wide receiver position, but you need a little more of a security blanket And Evan Ingram could certainly provide that to you. I don't know what the return would be for a guy like Evan Ingram. I don't think very high. And again, another guy who's got an outsized value for his team, whatever team he's on, versus what he would get in return. But a guy who's not old, so to speak, in football years, still in his prime, a hybrid tight end, offensive weapon, a reliable pass catcher, red zone threat, and one of the core leaders of the football team here in Jacksonville. All reasons why you shouldn't trade this guy. He just redid the contract 2 years ago, but I think it was a 3-year deal. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second year. He'd be entering his final year next year. I'm sure teams would like that, especially if it's a void year or non-guaranteed. You can decide what to do after the fact. Here's why it becomes a little believable. Despite the record with him off the field, it didn't feel like we lost anything out of the tight end room.
No, we're not going to do that one. Wait, okay, I'm sorry. I cut you off. What do you mean by that before I say I disagree?
I mean, when Christian Kirk went down last year with the oblique injury, the loss was extremely apparent to fans of the Jaguars. The offense struggled literally as soon as Christian Kirk got hurt. Evan Ingram got hurt, and okay, fine, we didn't see the offense playing lights out, but it didn't seem like tight end was the reason why. It seemed like offensive line was the reason why early on. And now that the offensive line has their stuff together, it seems like we're playing great on offense. Whoa. Brenton Strange filled in. He was pass catching. He was doing a good job pass catching. He's throwing blocks. Luke Farrell throwing blocks.
Offensive line is getting it together as Evan Ingram is hitting the field again. And I get it. The Colts game, I don't think he played. But, I don't know about that. I don't
it
know
feels
about
out of pocket. I'm not against you on that. Like, I'm with you. It feels out of pocket. Evan Ingram is actually playing really well on his return.
He came back to 10 for 102?
It was a big game back. It was a big game back. But that's not what he does game in and game out. He's more a 5 for 60 or 70 guy, which is good numbers for a tight end. And he's capable of doing very special things. We've seen it.
I think it's what kind of value are you projecting for the future versus what you can get
here's what
right
I think
now.
My biggest problem is all three of these guys are leaders on this team. Are we doing that? Because if we're doing that, we're blowing the whole thing up outside of Trevor and maybe one or two other guys. Josh Allen, maybe even Trayvon Walker, Tyson Campbell. If you're throwing the leaders out, you really have to blow the thing up. I don't think we're there yet. I think change is needed. Upgrades are needed. But a full-on blow it up, like the Rams are trying to do again for the second time in 10 years.
But when they blow it up, they win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, because they know how to blow it up right.
So yeah, if I'm a Rams fan, I'm like, yeah.
Rams took a number 1 draft pick quarterback who wasn't a bust, and we're like, we'll trade him. Fine. Yeah, that's ballsy right there. Testicular fortitude. Describing the Aaron Schachter Show. Maybe not. Brian made a face. That's fine. One more segment for you to get in. 904-362-9901. Take a quick break. When we come back on ESPN 690.
Ryan Radke here from Westwood One. Longtime NFL head coach Ron Rivera joins me from Los Angeles as we kick off Week 8 with Thursday Night Football between the Rams and the Vikings. Minnesota is coming off their first loss of the season to the Lions, while the Rams hope to build off their win on Sunday against the Raiders. Don't miss it. Vikings at the Rams coming up on Thursday Night Football.
Jacksonville's home for Thursday Night Football is right here on ESPN 690.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anna Jar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville. Dave and Ammon here with Zero Res. Ammon, I can't believe it's been 20 years since we started Zero Res. Do you remember? You were only 7 years old and we had you cleaning the vans after school.
Yeah, I'm grateful I've always had a job that taught me to work hard, take care of things, and to appreciate our good customers.
October is birthday month for Zero Res, so what are we doing for our customers?
Just say Happy Birthday Zero Res and we'll give you $50 off. That's $50 off carpet, tile and grout, upholstery, or area rugs.
Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. All young people in Northeast Florida, but especially LGBTQ plus teens and young adults, need advocates and a safe place with no stigma or judgment where they can find acceptance and support. It's essential for them to live healthy, safe lives filled with joy and possibility. This is what Jasmine provides. Jasmine is Northeast Florida's only youth center for LGBTQ plus teens and young adults, and for nearly 29 years has worked to help the community be a more welcoming place for our young people. Offering mental health programs, peer counseling, family time, HIV testing and prevention, and a front door for homeless youth, Jasmine continues to be the safe place our LGBTQ plus young people need as they navigate this tumultuous time in their lives. And though progress has been made, our work is still necessary to reach the ultimate goal: equality and human rights for all. Discover how you can partner to support our LGBTQ plus teens and young adults. Visit jasmine.org today.
If you're feeling undervalued where you bank or lost in the shuffle, it might be time for a change. Community First Credit Union makes changing easy and worth it. We've been helping the people of North Florida live their best lives for over 9 decades, and we're here to help you too. If you open a Community First checking account, we'll give you a $200 bonus, and you don't have to refer anyone to get it. Visit communityfirstfl.org for details. Member NCUA. Bonus requires deposits totaling $1,000 or more and 10 debit transactions within the first 90 days of account opening.
Snyderman, can you move things in your mind?
Nope.
Could you read our minds?
I got nothing. Were you thinking of nothing?
No. So, what makes you a superhero?
I can tell if you should repair or replace your air conditioning system.
Snyderman can help tell you whether it's time to repair or replace your system if you answer 8 quick questions on our website. Visit SnyderAC.com and get your answer in a flash.
Flash? I think you mean Snyderman.
CAC 1813307.
I'm Action News Jack's first alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenball. Weather here is unique. It can be bright and sunny one minute and then a downpour the next. That's why mornings are when you need us the most. So you can plan your day, no matter if you're getting ready to go to work or working from your living room, getting the kids ready for school, or ready for lunchtime. I'm on TV explaining how weather is going to affect your day and night ahead, so you're prepared for anything. I'll get you ready on Action News Jax this morning.
Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. Diglocal.org for more info.
Cox Media Group encourages you to make a difference for those impacted by Hurricanes Milton and Helene. Donate now at redcross.org or unitedwaynefl.org. We are Jacksonville. We are Cox Media Group.
Had to clear it out, cleanse the palate. That's what I'm working with.
Good for you.
Back on the Aaron Schachter Show, ESPN 690, 904-362-9901, straight to business. Brian, would you mind plunking down Kilkenny, who's waiting patiently on hold? Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Hey, I know you only got a few minutes, but just wanted to call in with the tobacco talk.
Yeah.
You know, you were talking about the candy cigarettes. When I was a kid, my grandmother always put a carton of cigarettes and a 5-pack of Bic lighters in all the adults' Christmas stockings.
I was going to say, was it the kids? Was that a stocking stuffer for the kids? Because back then, everybody was smoking.
Yeah, no, she didn't do that until you hit 18. Once you hit 18, then you got the carton and the pack of lighters.
That was kind of nice of her. I remember being 14, just going to the store buying cigarettes for my mom. And the guy at the store was like, yeah, no, you look 18. That's fine. Ain't no IDing happening where I came from.
Right. Yeah. As kids, we would get the candy cigarettes like you were talking about.
Yeah. Which ones? The chalky ones or the bubblegum ones?
Oh, the bubblegum ones.
Yeah.
Chalky ones sucked, man. Those things were horrible.
It was almost like Great Value candy cigarettes with the chalky ones because they didn't do the puff of smoke. It wasn't as cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With buying the cigarettes for the parents, we with living out here, my dad used to just write a note, and he would always put a date on it, and he would send us up to the store, and and the cashier at the corner store knew everybody, and so we'd go up there and I'd buy cigarettes from the.
You got a permission slip for smokes, huh?
Right, exactly. And then when I was like 12, I think I was 12, my dad forgot to put the date on the note.
Now you got a blanket slip.
Oh, that thing was gold. It went in the pocket.
You framed it. You laminated it, wore it around your neck like a backstage pass.
Oh, yeah, but then Miss Virginia, after about 4 or 5 times of seeing that same one, she was like, huh. And then she ended up, stopping by the house after she closed up for the night and talked to my dad and found out about that note. And he was like, oh, yeah, let me have the note, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that ruined that.
Sounds like you got a Jordana-style punishment is what it sounds like.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
But then with the knife games, we used to play a game called Mumble Pig.
Mumble Pig?
Yeah. And
sounds like what we call hacker.
But you would take a knife and you would put it on each one of your digits. You start off with the pointer finger and work your way to the pinky finger and then go to the thumb and then do that for both hands. And then you would go to your chin, then your nose, and then the crown of your head. And you would have to let it drop and stick in the ground.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoever was the last one to be able to finish it
lost a finger.
A 6-inch stick, and you would bury it in the ground where there was like a 1/4 inch of it at most sticking out.
Yeah.
And you have to pull that out with your teeth.
Oh.
And everybody would be chanting, God made dirt, dirt don't hurt. And
it's a weird game.
A few times that some of the guys weren't so good at it, and they might have had some holes in the top of their foot.
I bet.
It was all fun.
But back then you had to suck it up. You couldn't cry about it. Couldn't complain.
No. And talking about the games, we're talking about the handball game. We did something similar to that. But we would have to use the side of the convenience store.
Okay.
Handball courts or anything out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But, we would just find a concrete wall, and do it,
Anywhere you could find it.
Yeah, exactly. But we definitely had the one, where you'd have somebody, chuck the ball into a big group, a big, football, and you'd have to catch it, and then you'd run, and you'd have like 20 people trying to chase one guy with the ball.
Oh yeah, kill the man with the ball.
That wasn't the name we used back then, but yeah.
Oh, I know what name you used.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it. Yeah.
Talking about kids, my daughter. On a daily basis, just about looked at me, and every time she would hear some kind of story from one of my family members or something, she'd just look at me and go, "How are you alive?"
That wasn't easy. That gave us character, Dan. The fact that we made it.
Exactly. What doesn't kill you, But yeah. So, all right. Well, y'all have a good one.
Appreciate you, Dan.
All right. See you.
He just reminded me actually of. I remember my former brother-in-law. My ex-wife's brother, shout out to double A, Aaron. He used to put, snaps, you throw them on the floor and they snap, they explode.
Okay.
He used to put snaps in his mother's cigarettes. He hated that she smoked. And so he'd empty out some of the tobacco. He'd put a snap about halfway down that thing, and then he'd put the tobacco back in there. And I used to work at the dry cleaners she owned, right? And it's so funny. She'd be at the front of the dry cleaners, puffing on a heater, choking back a heater, which is wild to think about. People bring their clothes in to get cleaned, and she's just sitting there blowing Virginia Slims or whatever they were all over them. No one seemed to mind.
Virginia Slims.
Whatever they were. But she'd get halfway down the cigarette. I'd be in the back working on the pressing machine or something. You hear, snap! Ah! You're like, oh, man, you got her again with another one. Good times.
Great times.
Good times, man. This has been a fun show, Brian. I appreciate you being here for it. I appreciate the listeners for hanging out with us as well. The rare, elusive full week of the Aaron Schachter Show continues. 2 more hours of punishment tomorrow, and then a final 2 hours of punishment on Friday. And we will book this week solidly. Thank you guys for being here for it. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 on ESPN 690.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The Sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
You know what makes every diamond unique and special are his 4 C's. Its cut, clarity, color, and carat weight. But do you know what makes Diamonds Direct special and unique? It's our own 4 C's. The first C, concept. Diamonds Direct has revolutionized jewelry shopping by eliminating middleman markups and giving you direct access to the world's finest diamonds straight from the diamond cutters. The second C, choice. Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection of precious diamonds is unparalleled, and with over 4,000 designer settings to choose from, you are empowered to make a decision that works for your style and taste. Third C, confidence. With a nationwide price guarantee, a free lifetime warranty, our unique 110% diamond upgrade policy, and our no pressure, no risk environment, you have total peace of mind. And the fourth C, community. Every year we partner with local charities and nonprofits with significant donations of time, money, and jewelry to make this a better place for everyone. Diamonds Direct, as unique, as special, and as rare as every diamond in our showcase. Official jeweler of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and proud to call Jack's home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Are you a real estate investor or have considered investing and want to know where you can put your money that offers solid returns and protects against market volatility? It's Rich Jones. I want to introduce you to DLP Capital, CEO and founder Don Wenner.
For more than a decade, DLP Capital has delighted our investors with consistent double-digit returns. Through the smart, conservative real estate investment strategy our company is built on, we have been able to achieve this with monthly distributions and tax shelters so our investors can keep more of their returns.
Dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Bueller Air & Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a gravy taster from Jacksonville, Florida, me, Dennis Mosley.
Hi, Ken.
Okay, Dennis. 100 plumbers surveyed, top answer on the board. What does it mean if someone says your home has hard water?
It's made of ice? Let's see, hard water. Oh, is it club soda mixed 4-to-1 with vodka?
Last chance, Dennis. What is hard water?
Is it that lime scale stuff that makes my taps all crusty?
That's right, Dennis. And a water treatment system from Bueller Air & Plumbing will eliminate troublesome lime scale deposits that can ruin your expensive appliances and let your neighbors know for sure that you are cool.
I wonder if I can get me a gin and tonic faucet.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
From every street,
Action News Jax is on the scene right now.
to every screen, when news breaks, minutes matter.
Moments ago, we got this update.
Where accuracy is the most important.
Tomorrow's a first alert weather day as thunderstorms heat up in the afternoon.
Action News Jack's Tanika Hughes, Ben Becker, and Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. We break the stories that impact you.
We're told it's a full-scale investigation.
Weeknights at 5, 5:30, and 6. Your #1 rated newscast is Action News Jax.
Live from the Anajar and Levine studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA is likely to begin an investigation into the 76ers surrounding center Joel Embiid's absence and whether there's a violation of the player participation policy, reports ESPN's Shams Charania. Embiid missed the preseason with left knee injury management, is out at least the first 3 regular season games. The Sixers have said already that their plan is to keep Embiid out of back-to-backs this season. ESPN NBA analyst Chinea Gulmake.
I think the biggest issue is this concept of prioritization of the playoffs, because that's sort of antithetical to the mission of the NBA or anybody that's a professional. You're trying to show up for each game through 82 games for the fans and then also have that standard.
NFL, DeAndre Hopkins on the move. The Chiefs finalizing a deal to acquire the 5-time Pro Bowl receiver from the Titans for a conditional 2025 fifth-round pick. The Browns will start quarterback Jameis Winston this week. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey takes over play-calling duties. Panthers start QB Bryce Young Sunday in place of the injured Andy Dalton. Commanders QB Jaden Daniels' rib injury didn't practice today. Uncertain Sunday against the Bears.
Why pay more for a great shave? Choose Barbasol, America's #1 brand of shaving cream.
Barbasol's thick and rich lather gives you a close, comfortable shave for just half the price of gels. Barbasol.
FX presents American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez.
Football is all I got. Everything's okay when I'm playing ball.
You can't make mistakes, Aaron. People are watching you.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Is there something that you want to tell me?
You don't know the kind of thoughts I have.
Aaron! FX's American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez. All new Tuesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023. Groove on in on the best show on your radio. You know it better as Freddie and Harry. I'm Freddie Coleman with my man Harry Douglas, presented by Progressive Insurance on the ESPN app. Don't forget about us on Sirius XM Channel 80, as well as tune in and always tell you a smart speaker. They'll play ESPN Radio. Who are those that don't want to be on our Milk Carton All-Stars, but made that list anyway, whether they like it or not? We're going to have that for you in about 5 minutes. But a guy who's no longer on the milk carton, at least when it comes to not catching passes, is DeAndre Hopkins, no longer a member of the Tennessee Titans, traded to the Kansas City Chiefs today for a conditional 4th-round pick, a team that has suffered so many injuries at the wide receiver position. Rashee Rice out for the season, right knee injury. Hollywood Brown to a shoulder injury. They're hoping he's going to come back soon after having that injury in the preseason, Harry. Juju Smith-Schuster suffering a hamstring injury last week. He's not going to play this week versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Now you're bringing a man in DeAndre Hopkins who feels, I shall be released from purgatory when it comes to quarterback play in Tennessee. And now he has Patrick Mahomes to throw him the football. How much better will he make the Kansas City Chiefs, in your opinion?
Well, a lot better. And I think also it's going to make Patrick Mahomes comfortable as a quarterback, because one of the things I do know about DeAndre Hopkins, if you put the football anywhere in the vicinity that he's in, his catch radius is unbelievable, and he's going to catch the football, whether it's contested, whether he's wide open, whether it's someone draped all over his body. He has the ability to do that. He has extreme extra large hands. So as soon as the football touches his hands, he's going to bring it in, he's going to pluck it to his body, and it's going to be a catch. Whether that's a first down or a possession, doesn't matter what it's going to be. Now, I would also say this about DeAndre Hopkins, and a lot of people might not understand this. He's never been the route running type of wide receiver amongst the NFL. He's always been a guy that, you know what, understands leverage, understands how to box defenders out when the ball is in the air, uses that long frame and that long reach to pluck the football out of the air or away from his body so DBs can't knock it down. So when you look at Kansas City, when they're facing opposing teams' defense, they've been seeing a lot of zone, and they continue to see a lot of zone because of who Patrick Mahomes is, but also who Travis Kelce is when you play him man-to-man coverage.
Right.
So when you look at a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who has the ability to understand the game at a high level, now he's a guy that can be able to go in there and sit into those zones. Patrick Mahomes is going to put the football on him. But if a team dare plays man coverage, we know it's going to be a mismatch. You can literally throw a jump ball up in the air. We've seen a play versus the Green Bay Packers this weekend. 1-on-1 on the backside, fade for a touchdown. And DeAndre Hopkins drug 2 defenders into the end zone. You've seen another one versus the Indianapolis Colts where he's backside in a condensed split. And he gets to the top of his route, running the slant, has those long arms, literally slaps the hell out of the defender, and comes in and catches the football with his big body. So those are some of the things that he's going to be able to provide. But I think something else we got to notify as well.
Okay.
He doesn't drop footballs.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't drop footballs.
Yep.
That's something Patrick Mahomes is extremely love about DeAndre Hopkins.
When you mention condensed split, for those who aren't football savvy like you are, what does that mean? How could that help him in the Kansas City Chiefs if they run that kind of formation to help him and Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, it's something that actually Kansas City does a lot of. That's when the receiver is lined up closer to the tight end or about 3 or 4 yards from the tackle position. We've seen Rashee Rice in a lot of those positions. First game of the year versus the Baltimore Ravens, right? Condensed split for Rashee Rice. Now you have Xavier Worthy or running back motioning outside of him, and now he's getting matched up, that wide receiver that has a condensed split with the linebacker or a safety, and you take that matchup 10 times out of 10.
Because he is so good in the middle of a defense that if he makes somebody miss, also he's got wide open field when they know that he can play that well in the middle of his own defense or even running away from man-to-man, part of that condensed split you talk about involving
and also
DeAndre
a red zone threat, too.
Oh, there's
you
no
get
doubt.
down in the red zone, whether it's dip routes in the middle of the football field versus linebackers or fade routes or slants, you have faith that these things are going to happen. Either he's going to catch it for a touchdown,
right?
It's going to be incomplete,
right?
Or it's going to be pass interference.
Yeah. Or he's going to drag so much attention that somebody's going to have one-on-one coverage and be wide open when you're worried about him in the red zone. David in Ohio wants to weigh in on this trade. The Kansas City Chiefs getting DeAndre Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans for a conditional fourth-round pick at 888-729-3776. Diamond David, what you got?
Yeah, I'm surprised that nobody's talking about how DeAndre Hopkins is now catching passes from Patrick Mahomes when he was catching passes from a quarterback that liked mayonnaise in their coffee. Thank you.
Will Levis doing those commercials. And that happened last year when he said, I said, to each their own. Who am I to criticize what makes you happy, what tickles your fancy, what excites your soul? But yuck and poo, putting mayonnaise in coffee. Now he got an endorsement out of it when it came to Will Levis. That's been the best thing for him in terms of that because on the field this year, in his second year as the Titans quarterback.
Yeah, don't worry, because if the Titans continue on the track that they're on, they're going to be able to draft their quarterback of their future because the Titans have pieces. It's just the quarterback position is holding them up right now, and they may be in a position to get that guy. But for DeAndre Hopkins to now be catching footballs from Patrick Mahomes, listen, players are already motivated to go out there and play for the name on the front of their jersey as well as the name on their back. And DeAndre Hopkins, if you know his mother in that story, she's blind, and he goes out there every week to make sure that he plays for his mother. Now you get to catch balls from Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
Patrick, that motivation, Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, but I should have gotten an inkling that this was going to happen because after the game that they have with the Tennessee Titans, DeAndre Hopkins posted his family dancing to the song 22 by Taylor Swift with the caption, "Rumor has it." And that was 4 days ago. And I saw that on Twitter, and I said, all right, whatever. And now 4 days later, all of a sudden that tweet and that rumor has become a reality. His mom is in the tweet as well, and they're grooving along as well to 22 by Taylor Swift with the caption, "Rumor has it." Now, Granny took an Adele song and put next to Taylor Swift, but I digress. Just like Devontae Adams knew something, apparently DeAndre Hopkins may have known something as well. Either way, a Chiefs team that's undefeated, and they do what they do. Whatever they need at the trading deadline, they go out and find it. Whatever they need in the NFL draft or in free agency, they know how to maximize it. They were always going to lose players, but they also know that when they lose somebody, they got somebody ready. They got somebody ready to step in. Now, certain guys, you lose them, nobody's stepping in. For example, you lose the guys like Chris Jones, good luck to you on that defensive line, no matter how good that defense is. And, of course, number 15 in red and white when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. But anything to fortify those guys, they draft a Leo Chanel. They get a George Karlaftis. They have a Nick Bolton on the defensive side. They bring in a Justin Reed to play safety. And then on offense, they have literally the best center and the best two guards in the NFL with the middle of the offensive line that can offset how bad their tackles are on the outside. And then they re-signed Kareem Hunt. They said, Kareem, come on home. We're sorry. We know you're sorry now, but come on home. He got out there, and from second one, that offense became a running football team because now I had to worry about that when they lost Isaiah Pacheco. They don't worry about tomorrow. They worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. It's about what are we going to do today to make sure that when that tomorrow comes, we're going to be that team that you're going to fear, like everybody has done since Patrick Mahomes became a starting quarterback.
Well, just look at the history of them when they bring in players mid-season, whether they trade for or bring them off the streets. You talk about Mecole Hardman last year.
Absolutely.
Didn't do anything with the New York Jets, but goes back to the Kansas City Chiefs and that organization and catches the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. You're talking about a Juju Smith-Schuster who was with the New England Patriots, and he was let go, and then he goes back to the Kansas City Chiefs, and he has 130 yards 2 weeks ago in a football game.
Yeah.
I get it. He's out right now with a hamstring, but more of the story is that they know what to do with players when they come into their organization. You mentioned Kareem Hunt, how he was once with that organization, went away, right? But now he's back where it all started, where he got drafted, and he's making an impact since Pacheco has been out.
Yeah.
Now, you think it's going to stop with DeAndre Hopkins? No, if the trend that I'm speaking about is in a positive direction when it comes to players coming to the Chiefs organization from other teams, even though they may have been there previously, I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be the one where it fails. Not with 15, is it?
Yeah.
Ain't that what our boy say?
Yeah,
Unique? 15.
15.
If y'all don't know who 15